I don't know what I filmed because that was a different day, but sending units in, fuel gauge works. Only got like 5 gallons in it now, but it is working. So modified that plate to cover that hole, and we're good here. So that is that. And I've been sanding on this. This is guide coated this side, and I've been running 220 on this side, so that quarter's done in 220. Top of the doors and fender in 220. Finish the bottom of these panels now. Re-guide coat, 320 it, and then set it on the ground and move it over and do the other side. The other side I started, did the top of the quarter, 120, roofs in 120. Hood I haven't touched, I'm saving that for last because that's the part I'm least excited about doing. Alright, there is 220 done on this side, and that is good for tonight. Yeah, so more sanding coming up next. Alright, next night, got this side re-guide coated again, ready to 320 it, then that's it for the blocking until we wet sand the final primer. So I'm going to get this 320'd from there down, and then I will set the car down. I'll finish the trunk. It's this side's in 320, that side's in 120. This side's from when I did a video on blocking volley that nobody watched, so that's why this side's further along. But I'll finish off this, and then I'll move the car over, jack up the other side like this, get the other side done, and the roof. The roof's in 120. Anyway, I'm gonna get this 320'd. That's my goal for tonight. The further up along you get in the grits, the faster it goes. 320 doesn't take too long. Did I say I was gonna finish this side in 320 tonight? I meant I was gonna get about this far. And I've had enough. And I think I'm gonna clean up before I do any more, because I don't like working when everything is a mess. But yeah, so everything's coming out pretty good. You know, when something doesn't block out exactly perfect, I cheat and grab a shorter block to get the low spot, or a Durablock, which is kind of flexible. This is very, very nice, super straight, for a 1970 Chevelle. It's never going to be perfect. I could spend twice the amount of hours on it, and it still isn't going to be perfect. It would be nicer, but it's not going to be perfect. You just have to find a happy medium of time spent and results. I don't know how to say it, but I mean, we are dealing with old, crappy cars that they weren't nice when they were new, and they were never designed to be nice. They were just good enough, and no one was looking down the side of them to see how straight they were, or checking out what the gaps looked like. So yeah, you could spend 1,000 hours in bodywork. You can get it very nice, maybe close to perfect. There's always going to be something. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, this isn't perfect. I'm not trying to act like I'm doing a perfect job on this. I'm doing a very good job, and close to the best I am able to do. and willing to do. But at some point, I mean, this has to get done. It can't stay here forever. And I'm sure somebody wants this car back eventually. But yeah, it takes forever. Especially when I'm doing this for 40, 50 hours, 80 hours a week at work. 80 hours. Anyway, and then I have to find time to work on this too, along with hang out with Angel and play with the dog and do stuff around the house, which I don't do, which is why my house and my garage are falling down pieces of garbage. But nonetheless, yeah, that's why it takes forever. I don't get a lot of time. And I plan to work on it on the weekends, but really I can't just come out here every weekend and only work on this car. I mean, there's other stuff. There's other stuff I have to do. I got a pile of parts for Angel's GTI in the living room that have been there for weeks. And haven't found time to put those on. And one day she'll be stranded, and it'll be my fault for not working on that. But anyway, why did I get off on this rant? Look how dusty this car is getting sitting in here. That's ridiculous. I'd cover it up, but I like to look at it, you know, when I'm sanding on this. But, so yeah. Yes, I have been slacking some on this, but like I said, when you're standing up for 12 hours a day sanding, you don't want to rush home and come out here and get to sanding. It's just how it is. So, I'm doing my best. This car will get done. And everybody will be happy. Probably not. No one's going to be happy. I'm never happy. Unbelievable. So this side is all in 320. I took the day off work today, try to make some progress on this. So now I can set it down. I think I'll do the roof and the deck lid before I scoot it over to do the other side. Still saving the hood for last. Not looking forward to it. That hood was garbage. I mean, I don't really remember how good I got it. I think I got it pretty good, but it was a ton of work, and if it's not perfect, I won't be surprised. Not that this is perfect, but it's nice. Very nice. Alright, there's the roof. Guide coated and sanded to 220. Oh, now guide coated again and sand it in 320. Man, I'm glad I put windows in this thing. After I 320 the roof, I will come down to this rear filler panel and the trunk lid. And something you can do as you go is label all your panels on what grit they're in when you finish them, so you don't get confused. You don't want to have something in 220, or that really wouldn't matter. You don't want to have it in 320 and go back and 220 it. So, you know, it's obvious what ones you haven't done yet. As you can see, this is in no 20, along with the hood. It's also no 20. So, yeah, guide coat. Once again, I'm using the 3M guide coat, even though I prefer the Mirka stuff. It was because the 3M guide coat doesn't wet sand well, but I noticed even doing this, the Mirka is a little darker, it goes on a little better, but this works fine. But the 3M, if you're going to do wet sanding clear, the 3M tends to ball up and doesn't sand very good, so that's what I'm going to do here, and then we'll be back and sometime. I know this isn't very interesting, but this all looks the same. You can't tell the car looking any different from one video to the next, so that's why I'm not filming much. Alright, roof is 320'd. Moving on to down here, I'm going to guide coat this. I'm going to only sand this side with 220, and then I'm going to re-guide coat the whole thing and sand the whole thing with 320, being that I already sanded this with up to 320 doing that demonstration poly video. Waste of time. So, yeah. You got that? Because I forgot already. Listen to the deck lid, rear deck filler panel, and 320. Once I get it to 320, I like to spray it down with wax and grease remover, check it out, even though obviously you know what it's going to look like the way it's sanded out and what your guide coat is telling you, but it's not the same as seeing it. It's always fun to see it shiny. It's drying up already, but I think you get the point. It looks like crap. Start over. Unbelievable. So, now that I'm done with that, I've got this side jacked up. As you can see, started blocking this with 120. And I found my first issue, which if you'll recall, to the one person that might recall, or two people that might have watched, I had an issue here. When I was done with the body work, I came back, realized I did something wrong, and redid this area, because it was all hammered here, it was messed up. But anyway, you can see it's a little bit low right there still. Hitting metal here. This doesn't really matter because the handle obviously is going to be here. You're not going to notice if it ramps up and is a little high right before the door handle. But you will notice if it's low above the door handle. So I'm going to leave it for now. If that's the only issue I have on this side, I will just put some glaze on here and block it out, final prime over it. No problem. If there's some more issues, like with that fender that I cut and spliced 15,001 times, then I will spot prime the few areas like I did on the other side. But we won't know until I finish blocking this with 120. So that's where we're at here. Good talk. Alright, it is now Monday after work. The last videos I was taking was on Friday. I didn't work on this thing on Saturday because I didn't feel good, and then Sunday I didn't feel like working on this. I planned to, but then I watched some football and, you know, stuff happened and I got stuck on the couch. Nonetheless, Monday I came out here after work and 120'd this quarter panel. And tomorrow I will probably be able to 120 the rest of the door and the fender, and then continue on as normal. I'm going to make a goal to be done sanding all the poly on this by the end of this weekend. Not that I'm going to reach that goal, but that's my goal. And then it'll be time to blow this thing back apart, sand all the jams, send the core support and inner fenders out to get powder coated or whatever we're doing with that crap, and start getting the pieces 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, whatever I do, into final primer. And then it is now winter time and it's cold, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to let that stuff sit, but regardless, or not regardless, I guess regardless, I don't know. It has to get in final primer one way or the other. So that's the next goal after I'm done sanding this poly. I'm going to upload this crappy video of nothing because it looks the same in every video I make, because it's hard to make a video about sanding primer 1,500,000 times. But I'm going to upload this just so I upload something, because my channel sucks and it's not growing and I'll probably stop. So at any time you might be seeing the last video. We'll see. This will be more entertaining when I start working on the T, I'm sure. I can also do a video of putting the brakes on the Model A, which I hope to do sometime soon because it has no brakes and it's sitting over here waiting. So we'll do that. Maybe after we get final primer on this. And then we can mess with the rear suspension on the Chevelle. And yeah, anyway, rambling again, that's what I do best. Yeah, getting close. This is the worst part of a project, in my opinion. I don't mind sanding Bondo. I do not like sanding poly. And luckily you have to do it like 15,000 different grits, so you're sanding poly forever. It sucks.